Internet. I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Unpopular Culture, the only show that will rape your childhood, but don't worry. We'll do it gently. This week, tons of stuff happened. We missed 2 weeks of this because of Thanksgiving, so we have a bunch of news to go over. First of all, more news from the 2017 Power Rangers movie, and if you've heard us talk about that, you know how we feel about it.
It's so bad.
The first images of this movie's version of Alpha 5 Zordon's plucky robot sidekick have come out, and
/ Bill Hader.
And my god, people. My god, production designer should be fired immediately. On some more positive news, we have our first gameplay trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda, and it actually looks really good, so we're going to talk about that and what we saw and what we expect out of the game.
Spoilers? You're not supposed to tell him it looks really good. You're supposed to tease it. Who knows what we knows what we feel about this?
Yeah, stay and watch the show so we get the ad revenue. Other trailer news: Tom Cruise's The Mummy is coming out, and that's actually part of a larger extended universe they're trying to do with the Universal Monsters. So we're going to talk about that and any, I guess I would say potential, but I don't really think there is potential. So we'll see.
It's kind of bittersweet.
Good news if you like Netflix and also viewing things without Wi-Fi. Netflix has added a cool new option, which we'll talk about. The Walking Dead, which I'm not a huge fan of, has reached a 4-year low in ratings. So we'll talk about maybe why that happened, what happened to the show, it's gone downhill, and why. And then,
do you think it's because spoilers died?
Maybe it's because the spoilers, the show sucks now. Anyway, and then finally the last thing we'll talk about, movie studios are finally thinking about adapting with the times and considering a new way for you to get movies sooner and not in theaters. That's something I'm very excited about, and we'll talk about it at the end. But first,
sounds amazing.
Like we said, okay. So again,
just look at it. Okay, just look at it.
Give you a second there.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you're not a fan of Power Rangers, and I understand it's a very childhood-centric thing, like you had to kind of grow up in the right time period to get original Mighty Morphin and enjoy it, I totally understand. How can you look at, here's original Alpha, here's new Alpha. I understand they're going for a more alien design in the movie.
What are these things? What are those doing?
That's the thing.
What is...
If it weren't for the eye dongles, I'd be fine.
They are dongles. Well, I don't know. It looks pregnant.
A little bit, yeah.
Like,
but again,
it looks like, you know the kaiju from Cloverfield?
Yeah.
It looks like that, but robot.
I get what you're saying. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I understand they're going for a more alien aesthetic, because in Power Rangers, there's a lot of aliens. I mean, the main villains are almost 9 times out of 10 aliens. So I get it. They're going for that aesthetic. Zordon's an alien. Alpha would have been built by aliens, so it makes sense to look different. But just those friggin' eyes on the side. One of the main design features of Alpha in all its iterations, whether it was Alpha 5, 6, or 7, and there were a couple of them, they always had the Knight Rider thing, you know? And
the thing.
You know what I'm talking about.
That's what they call it in the studios.
The red light that goes back and forth, and that's ostensibly their vision somehow. That's a design feature you really shouldn't have taken out of this at all. I really disagree with that. The eyes just look silly as fuck. And I honestly, especially because this is obviously going to be, I guess it's probably a CG character, I don't think they're going to take the time and have someone in a suit, which kind of going to suck. But I can't
see... They could Pan's Labyrinth this kind of thing, though.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. I don't think they have the...
I don't think they will
the
either.
Creative integrity to do so. Bill Hader's voice does not look like it should be coming out of this thing. You know what I mean?
It might be all right. Like, you might get some comedy out of it, but it's not going to feel... The problem is, when you do these nostalgia movies, it should feel like the stuff that you remember.
Right.
And it's removing itself from that so much. The only thing I like about this new design is kind of the galaxy dome sort of look in the brain area. I think that's pleasing to look at.
I heard an interesting theory on that. The viewing globe from Power Rangers that they looked into, and that's how they saw stuff. They said
it's gonna be his brain.
Yeah, they thought maybe the viewing globe is gonna be on his head in this one, which I think is a weird change to make too. Whatever. Overall,
I'm scared about Zordon. This makes me real scared about what Zordon looks like.
Every single thing we've seen, from the suits to the Zords to now Alpha, is showing me this movie is plagued with a production designer who loves to over-design. And, you know, there are periods of design in film where there's some times when things look better simple and sometimes when things look more complicated. This movie is going way too complicated for its concept. Like we said, when the suits were revealed, it's too busy. I don't like all the lines. It's weird. And the glowing thing in the chest, it's too busy. The Zord, it's weird. There's too much shit going on. It doesn't look like the various Zords just come together. It looks like a giant kaiju robot. And this, again, over design. Not a fit even, and it's not even, this one isn't even as over designed as like the suits. It's just things like the eyes. The eyes need to go. Obviously it's not gonna, it's already made, so it's not happening, but come on. Seriously, guys. It's Power Rangers. Also, I think you're overthinking it a little bit. Like,
also, I like my Alpha 5's thick. And he ain't got no booty. So
yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot to say about it other than I am just the creative decisions they're making. And again, you can say in the comments, guys, it's Power Rangers. It was a show for children in the 90s and still now, but like it's never like serious. And I understand that. It's fine. But I'm saying this is a movie they're putting millions and tens of millions of dollars into, and this is what's coming out. I'm not saying Power Rangers is the easiest thing to convert into a more serious film for a slightly older audience. I mean, it's still trying to hit teenagers, but this, no. No, this, no. No, this, no.
Oh well, let's just move on to greener pastures in a similar aesthetic, actually, to Mass Effect Andromeda. We got our first actual like gameplay. I know they did that demo, but it's a demo.
Yeah.
Like No Man's Sky also had a demo, so we were all a little skeptical. I obviously, if you watched the last one that we talked about Mass Effect, and I was super pumped about it. Hugo had some reservations, but I think it looks like a fantastic game. I especially like the movement. If you've not seen it, there's a link. Click on it in your mobile phone device or your computer on the top right. That's how cards work. But you should watch this trailer because it's actually super cool.
Yeah, I was worried, because when they showed, I don't forget exactly what event it was when they were showing off the PlayStation 4 Pro. They did that short tech demo of a brief sliver of Mass Effect.
It was like a cave or something with a bunch of tessellated rocks and shit.
Yeah, it looked very Mass Effect, but it also looked very sparse. I mean, at that point, the companions weren't even following you. They were in the cutscenes, but they weren't following the person. Now, at this point, I would argue it was probably just to show off certain tech features. For instance, they were showing off the high dynamic range that was capable with the PlayStation 4 Pro, and stuff
also,
like that.
The movement in that demo looked weird and clunky.
Yeah. Which I don't know if it was just an older build or what, but
it was probably beta or late alpha.
Yeah, but
because usually those tech demos are just like, let's build a demo, show some people while we keep building the rest of the game.
Sure. And this trailer, though, showed a ton of actual gameplay, and it was talked over by, I don't know who it was, but it was one of the developers explaining what we're seeing. And it looks really good. It's a nice-looking game, especially for something that's, you know, on PlayStation, Xbox, and everything. Looks very nice. I assume the footage was captured on a PlayStation 4 Pro to make it look slightly better, or maybe they just got it from their PC version. I don't know. But it does look very nice. It's an obvious leap forward from the previous game, which it should be. It's been years.
Are you aware if it has a PC release? Because the other Mass Effects took forever.
You'd think I would know
and
that.
I would buy this on
head.
PC immediately.
I don't know.
I thought when we talked about it last time, it was delayed, but I could be mixing that up with the Red Dead because I think we talked about that in the same episode. But I think it looked fantastic. It had a lot of crafting, actually, which is kind of new for the. Actually, it's very new for the series. It's been mostly you go find pieces and then you just have armor. I'm hoping it's like Mass Effect 1 in that you can also equip your companions with new shit. I feel like that it just makes the RPG feel like an RPG. You take the RP out of it when you have these static characters. Like I had to buy those skin packs. Actually, it might have come with my Ultimate Edition eventually, but you know, like Garen and stuff. Like I don't want to see him in the same armor all the time. Like I want to let's get him cool again. So I'm looking forward to that. By the way, of note, we don't see any brand new aliens in this, but I think that was intentional.
Yeah, the story, if you don't know, by the way, this isn't really a spoiler. It's just the premise of the game. It's going to be in the opening cutscene. So if you consider that a spoiler, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't be here. The premise is, during the events of Mass Effect 3 or 2 or somewhere around there, the Council races did know the Reapers were coming or something, so they got these ARC ships together and sent them off to the Andromeda Galaxy to save the races, essentially. And it's a ship where you get, like, cryogenically frozen or something like that, and it takes hundreds and hundreds of years. Your main character, there's actually 2 main characters you can choose from. I assume this is just, if you want to be male or female, they're brother and sister. And you become...
Oh, so the other one will be active or killed off like in Fallout 4?
I don't know. Are they? Are they going to be... Ugh,
I have no idea. Like if they leave the other one alive, that would be interesting. Because then you could... Like on second playthrough, you could play it as 2 different people, kind of.
I would say that would be cool, but it's also EA behind it, and I have no confidence that EA would spend the money to have all the extra voice work done on the second person if they...
Well, the second person... No, I mean, they'll have a male and a female
No,
already.
I understand, but I'm saying...
Oh, do you mean the secondary... I got you.
It would add to the lines that the secondary character would have to do, and because they're also a main character, I assume that would bump up the salary, even if it is they're doing tertiary lines as a secondary character in the other character's main playthrough.
Yeah, they still have money.
But
I don't know. I agree with you. They're probably going to get killed off to show you that the game has stakes.
Yes, probably. But yeah, the premise is you get to this galaxy. Your ship has been delayed for some reason. I don't know what's going to be the reason, but for some contrived reason, the other ships got there first by I don't know how long, maybe a decade, maybe something like 30 years. But there are some preliminary bases set up, and this is where you have the premise where you have, allied areas where you can go and shop or get quests or whatever.
Which is a good thing, because if you didn't have that, it would be a very empty universe you're playing in.
Yeah, I'm interested in how different are the alien races going to be, because I really hope there is some sort of difference. I mean, they establish in the Mass Effect canon that a lot of the development of the Milky Way galaxy was dependent upon the Reapers and them shaping things. So I'm hoping that they're creative enough that when we do go to the Andromeda Galaxy, there is a noticeable difference between species from the Milky Way and species from Andromeda. Now, we didn't see any, like you said in the trailer. All we saw were some enemy robots,
Well, wildlife. Well, those were Hydras, though. Those were in the...
Oh, were they?
Games.
Okay. And then...
Yeah, they were just better looking versions of those.
And we saw you shoot someone, but they had a helmet on, so it could be just a human or something on a planet. And then we did see an alien monster, basically, that you're fighting. I actually heard someone compare it to the Witcher 3, but in space, where like you have these planets and you land on them and you go and explore, which is cool. One of my favorite parts of Mass Effect 1 that they took out immediately for whatever reason was the Mako, and you'd land on planets, you can drive around, and there were quests, and there are a lot of problems with Mass Effect 1. I totally understand why they changed it. But I wish instead of scrapping that altogether, they had improved upon it, and it looks like that's what they're doing in this one. You can land on the planet, drive around, find stuff, you can explore, you can scan plants and animals and get data on them, use those resources to craft weapons and armor, which is great. That's one of the things that was missing from 2 and 3, I think, were some of the RPG elements, like you mentioned. Overall, it's shaping up to just look great. The ship itself is kind of neat. It's very different than the Normandy, obviously, because it's supposed to be a ship that's long-lasting, and it's a much larger ship. So I'm wondering, I don't know if there's going to be a Citadel-type area, because obviously you're not well-established enough in this galaxy to be able to have a giant thing like the Citadel. But since the ship is so much bigger, I thought it would be interesting to have a bigger crew, and maybe there are shops and stuff, and the Citadel area and the ship are basically melded into one, where you have the command center of the ship, but then you have the living quarters and the shops and stuff.
That's the way I would do it, because every time you land somewhere, you could say, oh, we gathered these kinds of things, and it's a large colony ship, so they would have an economy that would have to run anyways.
Sure.
Although to save the human race, why don't you just give it to us for free? But whatever. That's how it was last time, too. But as far as the whole thing, like, BioWare has never truly let us down in any sense.
They made that Alpha Protocol game people hated.
Oh, that's right. But after that, they did the Mass Effect, so it was fine.
I thought some people didn't
Alpha Protocol did suck, but I mean, Jade Empire, both Knights of the Old Republic, the entire Mass Effect series, and I know some people are not too hot on... It really depends on who you talk to. I think number 3 gets the most shit for the ending. but I liked
I
the
still,
ending.
I still liked Mass Effect 3 up until the end. It's not like a perfect game, but I still enjoyed it. I thought for the most part, like 95% of that game, I was like, okay, this is the last in the trilogy. I'm really enjoying it. Still feels like the same universe. And then the end,
Also,
it was kind of a cop-out. But
for those of you who play multiplayer, it really does truly have a good multiplayer. But, I wanted to mention the combat in this. Again, you should watch the trailer that they put out. It's great. So much more fast-paced. It looks like we had talked about this in the last Mass Effect episode, where we were worried that we wouldn't be able to multi-class as often and as well. It looks like you can just do all the things, and you just kind of pick the points you put in, because she's using a shield, she uses a barrier at one point, she uses an offensive tech or omni-tool attack, and then of course there's guns, and there's many different guns. And then also, the most important addition for the movement, there's a jetpack, and it's multi-directional, so you can dodge left, right, out of the way, up, down, all over the place. So it does have this much more kind of almost, Witcher 3 is probably a really good, because you could dodge all over the place in that. It just feels like you're much more agile and quicker, so the combat's more fast-paced, and it showed the crafting, which makes me really look forward to this. I think this is going to be an excellent game. I'm probably going to buy it immediately. I'm going to wait a couple days to see what the immediate reviews are. But and if it's on Steam, I'm getting it on PC if I can.
yeah, I'm pretty excited. After Mass Effect 3, I wasn't quite as excited for the next one. I knew it was going to be a while anyway, because it was the end of the trilogy. But so far, from what I've seen, I'm pretty excited. I'm optimistic. I've been burnt a couple times recently, but I've been surprised too. Watch Dogs 2 came out recently, and I was kind of wary of that because of the first game I got burned on. But it turned out to be a really fun second game. They fixed a lot of the problems from the first one, and
I'll be playing that soon. By the way, I got my free copy on my PC.
Yeah, it's fun. You'll enjoy it. So yeah, I'm hoping this will be a situation like that. I'm cautiously optimistic, is how I would put it. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers, because Mass Effect, one of my favorite series of all time, just because I love sci-fi. I love the story. I love the customization, all that stuff.
Great universe.
And
it's not anything with Tom Cruise in it.
Okay. So, the teaser trailer for The Mummy came out. Now, for those of you who are...
Full trailer Sunday, by the way.
Oh, is it? Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
For those of you who are big Brendan Fraser buffs, and I know lots of you out there with your George of the Jungle shirts and your Dudley Do-Right shirts and your Blast from the Past shirt. Those are the Brendan Fraser movies.
Monkey bone snap bracelets.
You'll remember the early 2000 Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser. I actually own all of them, except for the Curse of the Dragon
and Rachel
Emperor.
Weisz. Early 2000s Rachel Weisz.
And, people make fun of Brendan Fraser, and they might even make fun of those movies, but, those are fun, silly,
People? What people would do that, Hugo?
They're fun movies. They're fun little adventure films. I mean, they stray a lot from the original Universal horror Mummy, other than the Mummy's the same from the first original movie. I forget, what was the name of the Mummy in that? Fuck, I totally forgot.
Amun-Ra?
Nah. I don't remember. Anyway, the new Imhotep. There you go. So that was a period piece, and obviously it was
Billy Zane.
It was set sometime in the 40s or something. And it was that kind of swashbuckling adventure, mummies, ancient Egypt. Blah.
That's a good movie still, by the way.
I enjoy it. It's fun.
The CG is shit.
Oh yeah. In the second one, the fucking rock scorpion, hilarious.
No, it doesn't hold up. None of it holds up.
But still a fun movie. Now, this movie, if you don't know, totally different premise, different mummy altogether. The mummy in this
dark
one is,
tones.
This mummy is named Amenet. I'm sorry, I'm bad with Egyptian, probably fake names. And it's in the modern day. Tom Cruise is starring as the main character, and then you can guess what's going to happen. There's a mummy curse that escapes, and Tom Cruise is going to have to save the world, probably with lots of running. So, more interestingly, though, this movie isn't just, hey, let's do the Mummy, but in modern times. It's, hey, we're Universal, and hey, look over there, look over at Disney. They sure are making a lot of money with that Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's look into our back catalog of things. What could we justifiably say makes sense as a cohesive universe? And they went back and they're like, okay, can we do a Back to the Future extended universe? No, that doesn't make sense, and Robert Zemeckis isn't on board. Jaws extended universe? No, that's just the ocean. Wait a minute, Universal Monsters, we own the rights to certain versions of Dracula, The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, all that stuff. So that's what they're doing. They're doing a Universal Monster universe, and to solidify that, by the way, not only is Tom Cruise in this movie, Russell Crowe is in this movie, and do you know who Russell Crowe is playing in this Mummy movie, Jake?
Is it Dr. Frankenstein?
It is Dr. Henry Jekyll.
Oh, that's even fucking worse.
Russell Crowe is going to be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He's not a good enough actor to do that. He's not even that good of an actor.
No, maybe Mr. Hyde will be Mel Gibson.
Oh, that'd be actually fucking hilarious. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be like, all right.
Drinks a potion, turns into anti-Semitic Mel Gibson, which is just Mel Gibson. Okay, don't do this. This is going to fail. I have no idea. Like, this would have to. You got to make a comedy out of these. You can't go hardcore. I don't know why you're bringing Tom Cruise on. The last time he did a comedy movie was Tropic Thunder, and he nailed it, and they've never done it again. And it just wouldn't work. If you did honestly, I know no one wants to probably hear this, but if you put Seth Rogen and friends in charge of this, you nail it. You hit it out of the park. But if you go with Tom fucking Cruise...
Hey, Jake, mummies are very serious.
Mummies are not serious.
They're serious threats. We need Tom Cruise to solve them.
Do you think Tom Cruise thinks mummies are a thing? Like he has to worry about?
Well, he thinks...
And he looks at this like training. He's a Scientologist.
He thinks a lot of weird shit, so maybe. But anyway, the weird thing is Tom Cruise typically picks really good movies. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's read the script. I haven't. So maybe it's just a great, really fun action
Jack
script.
Reacher?
I haven't seen it, so...
I hear the good things about the sequel, I guess, but the first one was shit.
Anyway, I mean, honestly, look at his track record. It's really not bad. I mean, he doesn't always star in hit films, but the films
I
he does...
Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, whatever. They changed the name. That was stupid. But yeah, I actually thought that was a pretty good movie. You said that movie Oblivion with him was pretty good. I never saw it.
I liked that. It was all right.
The Mission.
I mean, it was a good sci-fi movie, and it had a predictable twist. But at least it tried, damn it. And Morgan Freeman was in it, and he was the bad guy.
And the Mission Impossible movies, again, Tom Cruise. You can point out bad movies he's done, but he's got more hits than misses as far as his picks. So I'm wondering, maybe we're just totally wrong, you know? And the idea of a shared monster universe where maybe there's a main character like a Van Helsing type. I don't want Tom Cruise to be a Van Helsing type character. I don't think he can pull it off. But if you have like a main character that in every movie is fighting a different monster, and then in the end, for whatever reason,
how are you going to do the Creature from the Black Lagoon without it being fucking ridiculous?
I don't necessarily know they're going to do that. That's just one of them. That's one of the Universal monsters. So if they're going to do this and it is successful, they'll get to it eventually. I think the main ones are Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Phantom of the Opera, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Invisible Man.
Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm sure there are more I'm not thinking of, but I think I heard Johnny Depp might be being cast as the Invisible Man also. I could be wrong, but I think I heard that, which is code for, hey, Johnny Depp, will you be in our movie? You can do the role by phone. So...
Oh, I'm not excited for this, and I don't really want to talk about it anymore. But that's what's going to happen, and you can bet we will probably have to see those.
Yeah, I kind of hope I'm wrong, because it's kind of if you could make that work in the right way with the right tone, it could be fun. I just don't think they're going to at all. So
yeah.
Anyway,
not looking forward to it.
Going from a bad idea to a great idea. If you're a fan of Netflix, we have good news for you, which you probably already heard, and they showed it on their site or whatever. If you have a tablet or a phone with the Netflix app and you're going somewhere without Wi-Fi, you can beforehand go to a section they have now. It's called like downloads, and it's not every show they have, but it is quite a few of them. Shows and movies. While you're on Wi-Fi, you can download the whole thing. It's saved to the Netflix app, and then you can watch it offline while you're traveling, or you're going to a doctor's office and you're going to be waiting for a while. Whatever stupid reason you don't have Wi-Fi connection.
Basically, every airline that charges for Wi-Fi just shit in their pants. Yeah, because it's the only reason you fucking get Wi-Fi.
Even the Wi-Fi on planes isn't good enough to watch Netflix typically. So
right, it's pretty garbage. Yeah, and it's expensive as balls. But this is an excellent idea. I hope it expands to their full catalog eventually, and I think it will. I think they just want to deal with the server issues at first.
Well, it's also going to be, I'm sure there are plenty of content providers who are against it because they're afraid it's going to, I don't know why they think it would attribute to piracy. If your thing is on Netflix, it's already on the torrent sites, because all someone has to do, at the end of the day, no matter how much DRM you have on your stupid shitty show,
I can just screen rip it.
That's what I'm saying. No matter what, if it has an outlet to be played on a screen, it's going on the internet for free somewhere. That's just a fact. You just have to know where to look.
But I would rather not go through the hassle and pay for Netflix
I agree.
to have your shit.
We're in an interesting transition period where you have a lot of media companies, especially the heads, are older and don't necessarily understand the landscape, and they don't understand that piracy isn't just, and this is part of it, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, if stuff were a reasonable price, everyone would always pay for it. No, of course not. There are always going to be people who are going to take stuff for free when they can get it. But a big part of piracy is the fact of availability and price.
$20 for a fucking Blu-ray.
I was at the store the other day. I was looking at the movies because I collect movies. I'm a big fan of media, not just digital, but I like to have it. And Blu-rays from like 5-6 years ago, still like $25. Every Marvel movie. I've never seen a Marvel movie for less than $20.
By the way, those are almost all available on Netflix.
What, the Marvel movies? No, they're not.
They're just about to they're putting Civil War on, and they're expanding their catalog too.
I know that's part of the Disney deal. They did a Disney deal recently where all the Disney movies are
including Star Wars,
but only after they're in theaters. So not like the back catalog. You're not getting all the Avengers movies on there. You're just getting after. So like Doctor Strange, when that comes out on Blu-ray, a couple months later it'll be on Netflix. But you're not going to get Iron Man 2 on Netflix necessarily.
Do you want to watch Iron Man 2 on
I don't
Netflix?
have a problem with Iron Man 2. I like Iron Man 2. I like all the Marvel movies. Even the bad ones, I'm like, okay, I could sit down and watch this, but that's just me. So,
I'd rather watch Dark Knight Rises than watch Ant-Man again.
Oh, I disagree entirely. I can't imagine I'm going to watch Dark Knight Rises again, ever. So.
Nah.
Anyway, so that's good news. Good for Netflix. That's great. Honestly, even I'm usually on Wi-Fi. I stay home most of the time because I work from home doing stuff like this. But I could see if I was going on a road trip or something, downloading some shows or something and playing them in the background. I wouldn't look at the screen because I'm not an asshole, but I do like to listen to stuff. I do audiobooks and stuff right now too. But anyway, that's pretty cool. And then what else do we have to talk about? Is it one more thing or two more things? Two more things.
Well, it's two more things. It's Walking Dead. They have hit an all-time ratings low, and there's not much to talk about here except fuck you. Also, Negan's cool, but I liked him in the books before any of you fucking plebes ever got around to this.
AMC. There's a great video. I think it's Your Movies Suck on YouTube, whom you should check out. Did a great breakdown of what happened. Adam. Yeah. Of what happened to Walking Dead Season 2. Because the first season of Walking Dead, even as someone who's not currently a fan of The Walking Dead, though I do watch it every week because my girlfriend's a fan, the first season is a great season. It really is. It's great television because you had the original creative force behind it. What happened in Season 2 was AMC got to be cheap assholes, cut the original creative team, and put in new people who were cheaper and would work for cheaper and would say, okay, we'll do certain episodes a certain way because it's cheaper to film them. And that's why a lot of the season was on a farm and not a lot happened. And, I watched up till I think Season 3 or 4, I forget. But, you could tell by Season 2, it was like, It makes me almost wish they had just done a mini-series with the original people in Season 1 and it was its own standalone thing. But so by the time we got to where we are here, the show is dependent on the shock kills that no one cares about, or dependent on cliffhangers that I'm sure you heard last season at the end, the big bullshit clickbaity end where Negan had his bat Lucille and he killed a main character, and we didn't see who it was, and people who enjoyed the show had to wait like 6 months or however long it was between seasons to find out who it was. That's not a good way to tell a story. That's a good way to lose fans, and clearly that's what's happening. I already heard a lot of people complaining about The Walking Dead pre that ending Negan scene. I gotta assume that was the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people who went, when the bat happened, went down big, there was a huge buildup, and then that happens, and then I'm sure they went, oh, fuck you, and turned it off and never turned it back on again. I understand. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, a lot of them. It's that's why I like the book so much, because they don't treat it like that. There's moments, of course, where you're gonna come up to cliffhangers. It happens, but like in the books, for instance, the character Abraham, who, if you're familiar with it at all, he's a fun character to read. He's just talking. He's having a conversation outside the wall. And then he just gets shot unceremoniously in the middle of his character arc. There's nothing like there's so much to explore with that character left. But yeah, if you get shot, that's how it ends. Your character arc doesn't give a fuck when a bullet goes through your brain, and that's just how it worked. And that's what I liked about the books. And I'm behind on the books now because it gets expensive. But I wait for the compendiums. Man, it's so serialized and predictable now and bullshit. And like Hugo said, the first season, like I binged it on Netflix to try to catch up when the new season started. And I had forgotten that they did that Negan bullshit. I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Because I only had to wait a day, and I already knew what was going to happen. And like, I just didn't know there was going to be two people. And their locations are so sparse. Like, it's 2 locations for a whole season. It's the only thing that I like about it is I think the Talking Dead is fantastic.
Well, Chris Hardwick's great at that. He's so good at that.
That's such a good show, and they do the in memorandum at the end where all the zombie kills are put up, and they make jokes about their titles. It's so good.
Yeah. The funny thing is too, the first episode of the season, again, which I watched, I actually really liked it. I thought that was a great episode because you saw how demoralized Rick and the group was. And Negan just destroyed them emotionally.
Oh, he's fantastic. And then they just start drawing it out, and now there's like a wheelchair and a tiger guy, and now I'm done.
So, yeah, I don't know what's in the future for The Walking Dead, but if things continue down this road, I give it 2 more seasons because it has a lot of momentum. Don't get me wrong, Walking Dead has a ton of momentum because it's got such a big fan base, and the merchandise alone is crazy. Like my girlfriend's mom, who so weird out of the demo for Walking Dead, but she loves The Walking Dead. She is crazy about it. She, like, for Christmas one year, my girlfriend got her a Walking Dead zombie bank, and it was like what's her name? Has the katanas. Michonne. It was one of Michonne's zombies that she cut the arms off of, but it's like a bank.
Right.
Like it hits a lot the right nerve for some people for whatever reason, even in its current form. I don't get it, but I'm giving them 2 or 3 more seasons, riding off the momentum if they don't get their shit together, because you can't keep fucking with people forever and giving them non-satisfying conclusions. Like they're basically just edging the audience constantly.
When they really lost it was when they bought Kirkman out. Yeah. Robert Kirkman, who created the fucking series. When they're like, nah, you know what? We're good.
Yeah, they are.
That's when you lose it.
It's a show predicated on blue balling the audience, and every week they tune in for a hope of release that will never come. So
come.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Final thing.
You know what makes me come, Hugo?
Yeah.
Being able to maybe download films shortly after the theatrical release instead of waiting fucking 6 months for a Blu-ray I won't buy.
This is actually very cool. And there were rumors of this being kicked around for a while with some various services. There's one in particular, I forget what it's called, but it was a company that was looking to do this as a middleman. But now the studios themselves are coming in and saying, no, maybe we're going to do this on our own. And the plan is, for places like Warner Brothers and Universal, those are 2 I saw specifically named, their films, they're going to go into negotiations with movie theater companies. So the movie will play exclusively in theaters for about 2 weeks, and then after that, it will go into some sort of online service, whether it be streaming or whatever. I don't know exactly what it'll be. Mm-hmm. So if you, for instance, want to see Doctor Strange, but you don't want to go to a theater, 2 weeks, you can wait, then you can watch it. This is a great idea.
You know who had the best name for this service that failed?
Popcorn?
Blockbuster.
Oh!
If Blockbuster wouldn't have fucked up the Netflix thing,
yeah.
Think about this right now. They could have had, 2 weeks after, just wait for Blockbuster.
Yep.
Now, theaters might not like this unless they're cut in.
I can understand that, but I don't care. This is what's happening. This is going to happen whether they like it or not. And that's just a fact. Because think about this.
Do you think theater prices will go up or down in response?
I think they'll end up going up, and that's going to kill them even faster. The modern movie theater, the way it stands right now, is getting worse and worse, and I hate it. The ticket prices are going up. The concessions have always been ridiculous. And people, for whatever reason, I don't know if I'm just noticing it more now because I'm getting older, or if people are genuinely getting ruder, but people talk and use their cell phones constantly in the theaters. This isn't true.
It's new.
Is it? Okay.
That's a new thing. Yeah.
And it's getting insufferable. I cannot stand it anymore. I genuinely, when I'm thinking about a movie, at this point, I think, do I want to see this movie enough to deal with the people in the theater? I'm not kidding. Literally, the only
I don't have that problem where I live because I know where you live and I know how the demographic there is. You either have these fucking hicks everywhere that are literally wearing camo all the time, or you have these hood trap people who are just, they're just ridiculous. Like, I saw The Book of Eli in theaters, like, I don't know, it was not the night it came out, but it was just something, hey, you want to go see Book of Eli? All right. And pretty empty theater, but still, I had this lady going in there, and she's like, oh, no, they trying to keep the black man down for, like, an hour. Like, in other times, I've seen, I didn't go see American Sniper, but my friend Dave did, and he had a group of hicks in there going like, woo! Every time that was probably super loud, I'm sorry. But every time they shot, terrorists and shit. Like, America! Like, no one wants that shit. No one wants that. So, theaters, what I think they should do is probably, if theaters want to stick around, make the rooms smaller. Maybe you rent them out. You take a bunch of friends or some shit, or at least have that option. Like, I go VIP and I sit up higher than the normal riffraff. But even so, if they were going to be loud, they would still affect my experience.
Yeah. What they're going to have to do, and the service is going to happen eventually. It might be a year from now, it might be 10 years from now. Either way, this is going to happen because it's what consumers want, and movie studios care about making money. So what's going to happen is one of two things. That's going to happen, and movie theaters are going to have to improve the experience, or they're going to go out of business. They're going to have to adopt more the Alamo Drafthouse style, where it's like a restaurant, and they're very strict about etiquette in the movie theater. If you talk, if you're using your cell phone, we're kicking you out. We don't care how much you bitch about it, you're going to leave, and I don't care if you come back. We don't want you here. That's pretty much what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, like, it's going to have to be like, you go there for dinner, you get served drinks. It's got to be an experience. Maybe you get some movie swag for going. I don't know. You really got to build the experience up, because my TV can outperform a lot of standard level, like 5 years ago, better than those big screens. Those screens are just bigger. Like, now it's like, okay, give me the best resolution, give me the best sound, give me the best seats, give me some great food, give me some, don't fuck up the popcorn. Like, if I ask for extra butter, if I ask for so much butter that I want you to feel guilty about handing it to me, you better fucking do that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm a big home theater person too. Right now I have a 55-inch 4K TV. I'm planning next year to up to 70. I
have a 55 1080 because I don't have anything that does 4K that's worth it right now. But I know how you are. But next year, 70 4K probably.
And the only reason I haven't invested in surround sound is because I'm in an apartment and I'm not a rude asshole. But when I get a house at some point, that shit's happening so hard.
Oh man, my living room's perfect for that. I'm getting a mount and stuff. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. We're gonna have 2 TVs, one in the playroom so the kids can fuck off over there, while me and the lady, we watch like Deadpool.
Sure.
Surround sound.
Sure. So, pricing. Let's talk pricing real quick because it is important. The price they're kicking around right now for a movie, and this is interesting. A new movie that just came out 2 weeks ago, $25 to $50. Now, here's the thing, though. I thought that too at first, but if they go 25, and I think they'll hit somewhere in the middle. Think about this.
30 is my max.
If I go to a movie theater with my girlfriend, the tickets alone are $22. With concessions, it's like another $15 to $20. So if I rent a $25 movie or whatever that came out 2 weeks ago to watch at home, I'm still saving money. So
I think if they kick that up to a week instead of 2 weeks,
I see. Yeah.
I would pay the higher price. I almost again, your theater experience is, I know from personal experience, very bad. Your choices around town there are shit. Frankly, I would drive 45 minutes to the Trillium in Flint if I were you, because it's just way better, and no one there can afford it anyway, so it's like empty. And
and then I would pick up some White Castle. Yeah.
Ooh.
Crave case.
We went to White Castle. We just decided to go one day, and we got so many poops. We pooped so much.
Remember when we went to go see The Dark Knight Rises in IMAX, and we got Taco Bell for lunch, and we got Taco Bell for lunch that day, and then White Castle.
We were young men,
and
in an age where our stomachs could do that, and then they couldn't immediately.
And I think I drank like one of those, giant movie Cokes too.
That is easily one of the worst days of eating in my life.
I would have to agree. I mean, I died. It felt like something had died in me.
We were all gassy and awful. It was terrible. We took like 12 people. It was a fun day. It was great. But we ran a convoy all the way. Anyways, I don't know what my point was, but that price is in the ballpark of me considering it. But we have a really good theater, so I'd probably go there. But in your area, I would probably do this.
Yeah, I would. Because it's just... I'm very much an introvert type person. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you, if that makes sense. Like,
it would really help our jobs, though. We'd review more movies.
Yeah, probably. Also, and this is true, too. I definitely understand this. If that happens, every movie's going to be on fucking torrenting sites immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not condoning that, because if studios are nice enough to actually give consumers what they want, I think you should give them the money.
I don't pirate a lot, and I haven't in a while, but I would certainly be more likely to buy it legally than I would torrent it if the option's available. If that makes sense.
If it's a reasonable
How long
option.
do you know how long they're thinking of keeping them there, like in a back catalog? Like, is it a couple months or something, so you have time, and then like they take it away, and then that way the DVD and Blu-ray sales get buzzed?
I would assume it depends on how they do it. If they set it up as their own streaming service, or not, I would assume maybe they keep them forever in a back catalog, and the price just goes down as it gets released on home video.
Right. And this is per studio, or is it going to be like a film guild thing?
It's very preliminary at this point. The only ones I know have talked about it and are in talks, and I guess they're supposed to be giving. There's a Disney, industries have conventions.
Disney.
Hopefully Disney. I don't know if they would though, because that's
Marvel and Star Wars right there.
I know, but they have such big opening weekends. They don't give a fuck anyway. But
right.
They have industry conventions and stuff for various industries that work together. Apparently, Warner Brothers and Universal have a panel where they're going to be talking to high head people in movie theater chains, and they're going to be trying to sell them this idea. And I think part of the arrangement would either be, again, they'll have to suss it out, would either be movie theaters chains get higher gross on the first 2 weeks to make up for it, or they will end up getting some percentage of the sales of the home digital.
Well, because the theaters have a deal with the producers anyways.
Yeah.
The studios. So they would have a say in the pricing. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably good for everybody. What I would also like is for maybe independent films and stuff like that.
Oh, it makes
you know what? Hey, no. Day one.
For films that aren't big action set piece movies, it absolutely makes sense. There are tons of, like that movie The Edge of 17, for instance, that just came out. I heard pretty good things. I heard it was a good, cute little coming of age movie. But if it's between that or like Doctor Strange, I'm probably going to go see Doctor Strange. But if it were cheaper and I could watch it at home and rent it, I'd probably rent it, And I'm sure I'll see it eventually, but not right away because I have other stuff that gets priority. And that sucks. A lot of films I'm sure that are very good get overlooked because there are bigger things out there. For instance, The Nice Guys, which is a very good movie. I didn't see it until it came out on Blu-ray because there were other movies out and it didn't do very well at the box office because those.
I don't even know who's in that.
Russell Crowe and what's his face? Drive, the guy from Drive.
Yeah, that guy.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
sure.
It's a good movie. It takes place in the 70s. They team up to solve sort of a crime thing. It's a cute little...
Drive. Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
he was in The Notebook, and you chose Drive.
Yeah. Anyway,
I didn't really care for Drive. It was too art housey.
Gotcha. But yeah, movies that aren't big blockbuster movies, they don't need to be, I mean, this is going to sound really fucking rude. They don't need to be in theaters anymore because the media landscape has changed so much.
Well, when I go to the theater, I want, like, the reason I like the big screen and the huge sound is for the movies that deserve that sort of treatment.
Sure.
Like, I can't remember the last time I went and saw a romantic comedy in theaters. They're always big blockbuster action movies that I see in theaters, and that's the reason.
I'm legitimately...
Like, I'll go see Rogue One, but Fantastic Beasts is almost kind of not... I'm going to see it probably, because the lady's a big Harry Potter fan. But I don't know if I would go see that without her.
I'm legitimately trying to think when's the last time I saw a movie that... The last time was probably that movie where the blind guy, the kids broke into his house and he tries to kill them one by one.
Yeah, but that's like an action movie.
I know, but that's my girlfriend wanted to see that. Before that, probably the last... It's probably like 2012. Honestly, I saw that... I was on a date and I saw that movie Letters from Juliet and it sucked. It sucked. It sucked so bad.
All of them are date movies that I can think of that I've ever seen in theaters that weren't.
And Disney movies, but those are beautiful.
Finding Dory?
But
I saw that with the kids.
I think the Pixar and Disney animated are worth seeing on the big screen too, just for I really appreciate the artistry that goes into it. So I think that counts.
Of detail. Anyways, you know what else goes a lot of artistry goes into? Our closing. You can follow us on Twitter at the Unpop.
At the real Unpop.
You can follow the other one too. That one's not the real one though.
You can also subscribe. Please do so. We'd love to have you here next week because we have lots of things to talk about all the time. That's why we talk so much.
Mm-hmm. Lots of games coming out. We're going to be doing some Watch Dogs. I play more League of Legends. I hear Hugo wants to play a video game someday.
I know. I keep saying I will eventually. I just need to find the right one I want to do.
Eventually. I've been playing Fallout 4 and I got hella mods, so maybe I'll do that. Who knows in this crazy world we live in.
So thanks, everyone. Until next time, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
This has been Unpopular Culture. Until next week.